Hello students, welcome back. So now I will show you how you can fine tune an OpenAI model. So suppose your task is this. You have to design a fine-tuned model that will take this input, an input that would be unstructured data. For example, this one says Victoria Gupta, a 27-year-old female, she's present with some type of condition, and then she has started on some type of medication, and so on and so forth. So this is your input. This is unstructured input. This will take that unstructured input and it will give an output, and the output would be something like this. It would be a structured output in a JSON format. That would be this right here. So your job is to create a fine-tuned model that will take this input and create this output. That's it. So the workflow that I will follow is this. I'm going to get my API key from the OpenAI. I'm going to prepare my data set. I'm going to upload my training file and validation file. Then I'm going to create a fine-tuned job. And then I'm going to monitor this fine-tuning job. And then at the end, I'm going to test the model. So go to your OpenAI dashboard and you're going to see this option API keys. Go ahead, click on create new secret key, and that's going to give you this secret key little pop-up window. So just type your secret key name over here. Let's say this is a medical doc, so I'm just going to call it medical doc. That's it. You can call whatever name you want to, and then click on create secret key, and your secret key will get created. And just copy this secret key and make sure you store it somewhere, and this is the one that we are going to be using. Click on done and your secret key appears over here. So the first thing you want to do is install your OpenAI. I installed my OpenAI, and then after that, I want to see which version of OpenAI do I have. In this case, I'm working with 2.32.0, and then create a new variable. Call this again as OpenAI key, and put that OpenAI key that we just created over here. Ideally, you want to put this OpenAI key in an environment or .env file. You do not want to put this and expose this out there for everyone. So I have two input files. One is for training and the other one is for validation. My training file has 20 records and my validation has 10 records. So let's take a look at the content of my training file. So I'm opening up my training file. This is the file right here. And I'm looking at the few records of that. So in this case, you can see it has a medical record right here. This is the first line. The second line is this right here. So it says Nancy Johnson, a 45-year-old female, so and so forth. Basically, this is the information. And then right here, my output, I'm sorry, this is the information right here from here to here. And then I want my output, that is my extracted JSON. I want this to be in this format right here, this one. Okay, this is the second record. So this is my input. That means this is my medical report. It would be from here all the way up to here. And my extracted JSON, that would be this right here. That's going to be this one from here to here. So this is my second record. The third record is going to be this one from here all the way up to here. So this is my medical report, and extracted JSON is this right here. This is my training data, and I have a total of for this one, I have training has total 20 records. Validation also has 10 records, which are similar like this. And now I'm going to prepare my data. So basically, OpenAI, it wants the data in a certain format. So what I'm doing, I'm taking my input file, which is my training and validation file. I'm going to convert that format. I'm going to convert that data into format that JSON, that your OpenAI wants. So my OpenAI training file, I'm going to be calling as training data temp JSON L, and my OpenAI validation file, I'm calling it this right here. So this function right here is responsible for taking input, the CSV file I just showed you, and creating these little files right here. So this is a system message, create a dictionary, open up my input file, and also open up your output file. And then over here, this piece of code, what it's doing is basically just taking that input file I just created and dumping all the information in the output file. So I execute this on this one right here in my training medical records, and I also execute the same function in my validation medical records. And then when I run this, it actually gives me this message, training data successfully prepared. Okay, now let's take a look at our structure and the content of the file we just created. So when we come down and I actually open up my training file, I just want to see how exactly it looks like. This is how it looks like right here. So message, you have to specify role, system, content, something like this. This one came from here, this one right here. Okay, then you have message right here. That would be from here, role, user, content, and you go like this all the way up to here. Okay, this line came from here. That would be this right here. Okay, and then at the end you write down your this one, role, assistant, content, patient name, and so on and so forth. So this is my first record of that file. This is my second record of that file, and then this is my third one right here. Now, OpenAI, it wants this data in this format in order to get fine tuned. So this is why I'm doing this thing. So this is actually taking input file that would be your training medical records right here, and it creating a new type of file right here. This actually contains the data in a little slightly different format. So your OpenAI model, it can ingest that data and fine tune itself. And now I'm going to show you how you can get the model that we would be fine tuning from the OpenAI website. By the way, this is the model I'll be using. So go to their website, that's right there. And you're going to see this option somewhere at the bottom, fine tuning. Go ahead, click on this, and you will see a window something like this. I already had created some model before, so that's why I'm seeing like this. In your case, if you have never done this before, this will be blank screen. Go ahead, click on this create, and you will see this pop-up window appears. So you have to choose the method that you'll be using for fine tuning. In this case, I'll be using supervised fine tuning. Select your base model. So you're going to see all these models available out there for you. I'm just picking up something simple like this one. Okay, this is simple. It's cost me less. Maybe in your case, maybe in the future, let's say you're running, you may see more options over here, but I'm picking up this one. So after you select this one, oops, sorry. After you select this one, you can actually add a custom, like your own experiment name. So when the model gets created, they're going to give it some name. So you can write some type of, some useful name over here. Okay, and you can also upload your training data from here directly, but I'm not doing that. I'm actually doing through programming, through a Python program. Also, you can upload your validation data. By the way, this one is optional. Okay, this is not mandatory. Training is very important. Validation is not that important. In this case, configure hyperparameters. You can even configure that. So batch size, learning rate multiplier, number of epochs. I'm just keeping it a default right here. If you want to fine tune your model from here. Okay, so after you're done with this one, just come back to our code. That would be right here. So I just put that model. This is the model I'll be using. And then let's create our OpenAI client. So I'm creating my OpenAI client instance. And then I want to see if my API key is working. So I run this command right here. So it's going to send a chat completion, and it's going to send this message hi. And I'm specifying my maximum token 1 because I don't want to get too much information. And if this is successful, I'm going to get this message API key and chat completion working. And I got this message. So I know my API key is working. That's the first step. Now I'm going to upload my training and validation file and get the file ID. So this function is responsible for that. In this case, I'm just calling that client instance. And inside that, there's an inbuilt method called create. Specify your file name and also specify for what purpose that is. It's going to return an ID. That will be a file ID. So I upload the training file and I upload the validation file right here. And then it returns my training file ID and validation file ID. Make sure you actually hold this somewhere. Okay, so my training file ID, validation file ID is these ones, right? We're going to be using this in the next code. And now I'm going to be creating the fine tuning job. So this is the function that's responsible for that. It's going to take the file ID, training file ID. It's going to take the validation file ID. By the way, in this case, this is optional, but I'm just putting it over there. Also, it takes a model, which model you're using. Okay, so my response is going to be client equal to fine tuning jobs create. So basically, this is the one that's responsible for creating your fine tuning job. And you specify your training file, specify your validation file, also specify your model. Okay, it's going to return the response ID after that. So I run this and it returns me a job ID, and my job ID turns out to be this right here. And now I will run and monitor this job. So when I ran this thing, it took me approximately 17 minutes. So this is the function that's responsible for monitoring the job. So I'm creating a while loop. And in this while loop, basically, I'm just retrieving the job status. And if my job status is succeeded or if it's failed, it basically returns the job. Then I check for latest events, and then I sleep for 20 seconds. And after 20 seconds, I keep printing out these things right here. So I don't want to be keep printing this thing every few, for every single instance or every single second. So I'm just waiting for 20 seconds, and after every 20 seconds, I print some type of like status message, like what's happening. Okay, so I run after I create the function, I run that function, right? I run the job, and if my job status comes out to be succeeded, all right, my fine-tuned model is done. And then I print out the fine-tuned model ID. This is important, but you want to make sure that you remember or actually write it down somewhere which one is your fine-tuned model ID. So this way you can access it. Okay, so I ran this, and as you can see, this is my output. Took me 17 minutes, and I come down. So every 20 seconds, it printed out these messages right here. You see it kept running for a while. Then towards the end, so let me just show you, coming back down here, and full validation. As you can see, my loss actually kept decreasing right here. Okay, training loss will kept going down. Also, my validation loss also kept going down towards the end. And let's just come down over here. Let me just show you. This was a very long process. All right, let's scroll down some more. All right, there you go. And at the end, you're gonna see fine-tune model ID. This is my model ID right here. Okay, so my the this way I can now I know my this is the model and I can access this model anywhere now. So my client fine-tune job ID, retrieve job ID. I want to see what's the name of my job ID. And if you come down, this actually prints out some information about your job right here. There's a lot more there's a lot of stuff going on inside this, so maybe I just want only some part of it. So if you want to check just the status, this one actually has a status right here. There's an error code, there is a fine-tuned model name over here, what time it finished and what time it started. We have a lot of information. So basically, let's say if you want the job status, so you can print out your job status. If you want to print out the fine-tuned model, you can print out that will be something like this. If you want to find out how many tokens were used, it tells me used 11,205 tokens. Training file, it even gives you the training file ID, also gives you the validation file ID, that would be right here. Also tells you the what hyperparameters were used. So these are the hyperparameters that was used. And then also it tells me what time it was started and what time it ended. So it gives me like 1036 seconds. Okay, this gives you times in seconds. So divide by 60 and the answer comes out to be in minutes. So it took me approximately 17.26 minutes. So after this, you can go to your OpenAI dashboard and you can view the metrics over there. So let's just go and take a look at our metrics. Come down over here, and this is where it's basically all this metrics is stored. So think of this as a log. It tells you this is the model right here. Okay, tells you the model name again right here. This is the model. Job ID is this right here. It tells you succeeded. Okay, good. Training method was supervised. Base model. This is the model we picked up. Output model is this. Created at this time. Data sharing is private, it's not available for everybody. Train token is this one right here. These are my hyperparameters. And then it tells you a little bit more checkpoints, files, and so on and so forth. Metric, training loss is this, validation loss, full validation loss. Also, this is the information you can actually see how your loss went down. Initially, your loss was high, but with time, your loss actually went down over here. Okay. And then this is your accuracy. So accuracy was low initially, but with time actually accuracy went up. So if you hover your mouse over here, it tells you what was the training accuracy, what was the validation accuracy, also what was the full validation accuracy. And these are the messages. So you can see this is my this one is 1148 at time, and this one was at 1119. So it prints out these series of messages over here. If you want to take a look some more, you can actually just click on this metrics, and that's going to tell you like step, training loss, validation loss, full validation loss. It gives you a lot of information at all these timestamps. So you can actually scroll down, and it's I think started right here 1125, and it's going to go all the way up to 1135. All right. Moderation check right here. This tells you like it passed all these checks. For example, it does not have any harassment or threatening messages in my training or your validation data set. It does not contain any highly sensitive information, does not contain any self-harm instruction or any sexual or biological threats, hate, illicit, self-harm, so on and so forth. It's just, this is actually a check done by OpenAI, and it makes sure that it passes all these tests. So in my case, every test passed. I did not have any of those harmful content. Okay, so this is good. And let's come back over here. Go to message. Now let's scroll down. Let's see what else can we do over here. Okay, so this is it in this particular instance. And now I'm going to test this model to see if it's working. So this is the function that actually does that. So in this case, I'm calling this client. I'm calling chat completion create, specify your model ID and specify your message. This is the message that's going to go to your fine-tuned model. Now here's the interesting thing. Just look at this thing, content. I'm not specifying any special instructions over here. I'm leaving this thing blank. And so this fine-tuned model will look at this content and automatically is going to give an structured output. So I'm specifying no instruction over here. I'm not giving any instruction that, hey, you have to actually create a JSON structure output. I'm not specifying that over here. Okay, and then I'm giving the test input. Okay, so let's first I create this function right here, and then I call this function. So this is the patient data right here. So Loxford Kumar, a 19-year-old male present with a severe acne on the face and upper back, presence for 1 year. He works at Loxford Academy. I'm just presenting this unnecessary information, and then I present all these useful information right here. Then I call this function and I give it like fine-tuned model, the model we just created. So it basically takes that ID and also give it a patient data, that would be this right here. Then it prints out the result, and this is the result I get right here. So in this case, I just want to know the content. So my content is this right here. Okay, I just want to know the content. So this is the content it prints out. Patient name, Lockswood Kumar, age 19, diagnosis severe acne, prescribed medication is this right here. Okay, this is working pretty good. Now you can convert this into a JSON format. So in this case, I'm importing my JSON and I'm putting this in the JSON format right here. Now you can also run this chat through the fine tuning playground dashboard. So let me show you how to do that. Go back over here, and right there you're going to see a playground option. If you click on this, you'll see a new window appear, and you'll be able to see your old base model and also the fine tuned model over here. So this is my old model, this is my fine tuned model. Let's play around with the fine tuned model. I'm going to close this one right here. So in this case, you can actually enter your prompt we just created. So just come over here. I'm going to copy this. Okay, from here to here, I'm going to copy this, paste it over there. Just come over here and yep, paste over here. Hit enter. Oh, sorry, over here actually made a mistake. Not over here. Let me just close this one. All right, and hit enter. And there you go. You can see that it printed out my output in this format. Nowhere I specified the instruction. Nowhere over here I said that, hey, I want you to print this out in a JSON format. It actually figured out on its own because it's fine tuned. Now, suppose you want the students or other people to access this fine-tuned model. How would you do that? Well, first of all, you want to know your name of your model. So in this case, the name of my model is this right here. So you want to send this name of the model to your students or to whoever you want to give it to. And then what you want to do is you also want to give them your open AI key, not their AI key, but you have to use your personal open API key. So create your open API key and send it to your students. And then let's say this is the user content right here, and then run this. So basically the students will be calling this particular function right here like this. So they want to specify this is the model name, this is actually your fine-tuned model, and the message they're going to be giving would be this right here. Now again, notice over here the content over here, I'm not giving any explicit instructions that you have to actually create a JSON output. I'm not doing that. It's going to figure out on its own because it's fine-tuned. Then I print out my message content, and as you can see, it prints out this right here. A few important points I just want to make sure that you're aware. Question is this: does it cost money to keep your fine-tuned model on OpenAI? The answer is no. As of right now, there is no storage cost, but you will pay for it if somebody uses your fine-tuned model. So you only pay for the usage, but not for the storage cost. That's true today. It may not be true in the future, so just be aware of that. So after you're done with this thing, let's say you don't need the fine-tuned model, you can run this particular command right here. This is going to delete your fine-tuned model if you do not want your fine-tuned model sitting over there. Thank you.